we're in this age that's still fairly new, and we're still trying to figure it out, of like just constant information and like 24/7 news, and like news becoming entertainment. And so as we try to figure out how to navigate that world in all these various election cycles, now adding in the fact that we're in the era of Trump and all of that, like like so much of the conversation in this Democratic primary has been about electability. And essentially what you're saying
and
is
voters try to game out
yeah,
the
like
system
essentially what
as
you're
though
doing
they don't have power.
Right.
Like, as though the voters
right.
being like, who is it going to vote for?
Oh my God.
You get to make that
decide.
choice. You don't have to game it out.
Right. It's like every single individual voter in all these random places
is over here a political analysis.
Is being a political analyst
Yeah.
and saying, well, the voters in Timbuk fucking too may think that this is electable.
Will he be able to win Wisconsin?
Right.
You don't have the fucking skill set to make that fucking decision. Who do you want?
Who do you like? Yes. Who do you think suits you and the country best? Go out and vote for her, and that's it. Like, and so it's
zing.
Like that.
Another, just chip in. If you like what you hear, go to ElizabethWarren.com.
$5 or $10.
And $5 to $10, or $1,000,
or
$1 million,
or a billion.
Mike, I'm not gonna lie. $1 billion.
Come on, Mike, I'll take $1 billion.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, just if everyone would just shut the fuck up and just vote for the person who you'd like best, and stop trying to think about who is electable, because the person who we elect is fucking electable. Barack Obama wasn't electable.
He wasn't electable.
Trump wasn't electable. A woman wasn't electable, and we didn't elect her.
Although
but she got
more
the
people
most
voted
votes.
for her,
right? So you can clearly make the case that she
the
was
American
electable.
people wanted her to be the president.
Right,
It's
more
just
fucking people
not
voted
in the right
for her.
places.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that plays a role in how we got here. I think at this point in the primary, because I mean, when else have you seen people getting into the race so late, right? Like Bloomberg got into the race long after he'd already said, "I'm not going to run."
Speaking of late people, Deval Patrick dropped out.
Yeah,
because he
I was
don't
going
got
to say
Bloomberg
that
cash.
too. Right? Exactly. Bloomberg got in because he felt that for whatever reason Biden wasn't doing well, which clearly we've seen
He's not.
seems to be the case. Deval Patrick, I don't know why he chose to get in, but that's just fucking embarrassing.
It was fucking
but he's
humiliating.
already dropped out of the race.
It made him seem like he's a little off.
Yeah,
like
bro,
I'm not
why'd you do this?
What was your fucking? What was on your, like? I didn't realize. I always thought he was Obama-esque, and now I got him. He got me thinking he's Steyer-esque.
Exactly. Just without the Steyer or Bloomberg money.
Yeah.
But like the point I'm making there is like the fact that people even thought like, let me continue looking at this, and you know what, I'm gonna jump in the race at this late time, is like, what is the reason for this just like turmoil, this uncertainty?
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to every single individual person.
And it's showing in the primaries.
Yeah, like questioning and will it be this person?
Bernie got that. What you call it?
Klobuchar's
winning, even though she's coming third and fourth every fucking time.
Right, not even third. Oh, well, yeah, no. What was it?
She came in third in
New
Hampshire,
fourth in Iowa,
and
then third.
Yeah, like
in New Hampshire. Yeah,
you're no. I'm sure they come in fifth in Iowa. Yes, because
right, that's right. Because Biden was fourth. So you move from fifth to third, and that's a huge story.
In no other year, like voters are so confused because we're in fucking analysis fucking paralysis.
Yeah,
where every voter is a fucking pundit. Every voter went to fucking
thinking about what do I just want. They're thinking about what does the person next to me want.
Every voter went to the fucking Harvard Kennedy School apparently.
Right,
and
exactly.
everybody seems to be making these kind of decisions. And instead of saying that like we can face off against a billionaire monster like Donald Trump or the billionaire class like Michael Bloomberg, we can decide who wins. There are more of us. This was after when Obama, and I think we're still traumatized, and that's the downside of this Trump administration.
One of the many.
One of the many, but we're collectively in some kind of post-traumatic syndrome as a country, and now we're scared. It's like when I think about in my 20s, I used to just jump into things. I used to like take risk, take opportunities, go out there and try new things, and then you get your heart broken a few times, you get fired a few times, and you're like,
all right, let me.
And then all of a sudden,
recalibrate.
Because you thought, you're invincible, and then all of a sudden you start over calculating and over analyzing and starting to say, all right, I do want this. You know what you want in your heart, but you're like, well, I'll fail if I do. Like, you have no data to back that up. Just because one time you've been hurt before,
so,
and you're holding it. And I feel like our country collectively, because we went into that 2016 election as a nation totally convinced,
just that knowing
her poll numbers were better than his.
Yep.
This guy's a fucking nut job. This is the apprentice guy.
Not winning.
No.
Right.
Also, we knew we had the demographic strength. We knew we had more numbers.
Yep.
We were being told that there's no chance Democrats can win. As a matter of fact, after Obama won in 2012, there was we could lose. After 2012, there was this whole conversation that the Republicans, remember, they did
we're
that
never
autopsy?
coming back. Yeah.
Republicans did an autopsy.
Oh yeah. And then they threw it out. And
they threw it out. It was like they'll never come back. The demographic shifts of this nation have shifted so far that Democrats will consistently win.
Yeah.
And I think we went into that energy feeling invincible in 2016. And I remember that feeling because you and I talked about it after it happened. And like that night, I remember when going to sleep because I saw Pennsylvania was too close to call, and I was like, nah,
not doing this.
I went to bed and I knew what was happening. I woke up and like my grandmother called, my mother called. They were in tears. Like I was like, you saw we are fucking traumatized because we don't know how this happened to us, and we're constantly being hurt by this man.
Yeah, and
we don't know, and now we're overly sensitive, and we're saying, okay, we have people like Greg Meeks and like some of these other black electeds, like Bobby Rush, who was a Black Panther, saying that the man who, Muriel Bowser in D.C., who runs a city that is devastatingly gentrifying, even against their own push, they're trying to push back. The chocolate city is becoming white chocolate city. And all of the things that Michael Bloomberg has stood up for and has pushed and has done in New York City, where he demolished black and brown communities through stop and frisk and through other policies in order to make white people moving into these neighborhoods feel more comfortable and be able to make the property values go up in fancier luxury buildings. He demolished communities. We're still trying to deal with it. Bill de Blasio gets a lot of fucking shit because he couldn't fix what Michael Bloomberg did in 12 years. He couldn't fix it in 8 years. It's like, because Michael Bloomberg did it so fucking viciously and so efficiently that the only way to fix it would be to like kick all the white people out of New York, go back to Iowa and Ohio. Frankly, that was like as quiet as it's kept. That's even though it wasn't said well. That's the only way to fix it because Michael Bloomberg did it systematically. He was data driven.
And prolonged.
He knew what neighborhoods to target. He knew how the police should be targeting neighborhoods. And yet you have people who have. I know Gregory Meeks has to have constituents who he knows have been traumatized by the Michael Bloomberg administration and during that time. He knows people who were pushed into homelessness in his own district. He knows this. And he knows it's Michael Bloomberg's fault. And he knows that an apology is fake because he's a smart man. He's been doing this for a while. And even if you say, all right, it's for the bag. But, like, this man ain't broke. Like, Greg Meeks ain't out here like, oh, God, I'm struggling day by day. So you got to ask yourself, like, what is it that is making people vote against what is right for themselves, for their communities? And in this whole like, oh, well, we think he can beat Trump. Anybody can beat. No fucking way. Like, come on.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't get it. I think that folks need to stop being political analysts.
Yeah.
And vote for the person who they feel is best, is going to do the job. Vote for the person that you like. And
to quote Matt Santos from West Wing, vote for the person who shares your ideals.
There you
Remember that big speech he gave? Who shares your value? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just play. I'm gonna put this. We're gonna edit this clip into it. I'm gonna force y'all to listen to this. Here. Insert here.
Now, it's been suggested to me this week that I should try to buy your support with jobs and the promise of access. It's been suggested to me that party unity is more important than your democratic rights as delegates. That's right, it's not. And you have a decision to make. Don't vote for us because you think we're perfect. Don't vote for us because of what we might be able to do for you only. Vote for the person who shares your ideals, your hopes, your dreams. Vote for the person who most embodies what you believe we need to keep our nation strong and free. And when you have done that, you can go back to Seattle and Boston, to Miami, to Omaha, to Tulsa and Chicago, and Atlanta with your head held high and say, I am America. Democratic Party.
But yeah, no, it's frustrating, right? Like even like up here in Albany, there's this like place that's on the corner as you walk from the Capitol, and it's usually a vacant lot. Like I've seen it rented out briefly for like an art show or something like that, but it's normally a vacant lot. Now you walk by and it's still very vacant, but it's a Mike Bloomberg,
it's super
Albany
vacant.
headquarters.
We walked by it yesterday.
There's a bunch of signs in the window.
There was
but then
one
there's
dude,
like
the one black dude in there
sitting in
who's
a
making
chair.
more money than every legislator
who
in
passes
that body.
by, right?
And just sitting
probably
there.
has his new iPhone and his new laptop from the Bloomberg campaign, and is just
Sitting
chilling,
on a fold-out chair.
And then there was like one other person
in the
at
back.
some distant table in the
no
back.
need to be there.
Yeah, but like, what were they doing?
But that rent is gonna be good for the economy
all year, right?
like
Exactly.
all year,
revitalizing the local economy.
But
there's a bit of a, I guess, an identity crisis, which again, like I said, in a primary, that's what the purpose of the primary is, to figure out who is the party now, who do we need to be in this next election, and who needs to be the standard bearer for in that next election. And I think that with everybody kind of trying to answer that question, not just for themselves, but for the person next to them, for their neighbor, it's caused us to be all over the place, and that allows that chaos. We talked about chaos before, but like that chaos allows other people to be like, oh, maybe I can step in here and make the case. And then you have other people, because they're so kind of confused as to who we are, who we should be, who should be our messenger, that they're like, oh, okay, I don't know, maybe a Bloomberg, right? Like there are people who legit have Elizabeth Warren as their number one choice, and then are like, okay, and then maybe Bloomberg is my second. Like, do you not understand
like
what
like
these two people stand for?
You like, do you not?
You don't,
get it?
And it's like, I want y'all to support Elizabeth Warren, but like the fact that you can support Elizabeth Warren as your first, and then Michael Bloomberg is your second, makes me feel like, okay, what the fuck are we doing?
I think people are
like,
just like,
who are we?
We just lost.